Originally released in early access as a new car game, Wreckfest is the latest from the creators of the Flat Out Racing series. 4 years of early access development led to a release in 2018 on PC and on consoles in 2019. The impetus for this review is the just released 60 frames per second patch that has hit the Xbox Series X version of the game. How does this doubling of performance help the gameplay, and is Wreckfest a worthy successor to one of my favorite racing franchises of all time? The initial tech demo, known as New Car Game, reminded me of the stunt mode in San Francisco Rush 2049. You had a large playground to send your car flying, with realistic physics that made every hit feel visceral in a way that most racing games simply couldn't match. Throughout my time with the early access version of the game, it always felt special. There was a dedication to realistic damage physics, which was simply not allowed in any of the licensed car games. Forza and Gran Turismo get their car licenses with the promise to not allow said cars to be realistically destroyed. Damage is only cosmetic, and I can understand why. Developer Bugbear is under no such directive though, and it allows the game to shine. There is a sense of mischief present in Wreckfest that permeates throughout every mode. Your first race in the game's meaty campaign is a destruction derby with a twist. Instead of using beat-up cars, you're all on Ryder lawnmowers, and there's another race that has you in a Reliant Robin knockoff. That was a car that had a ridiculous three-wheeled system where the one wheel was in the front. Using this Deathmobile, you try to sneak your way through over 20 large and angry and all over the track buses. Mix in some more typical track race types, and even these, though, they feature hazards such as looping back over the same roads, and then you have to dodge the cars ahead or behind of you from head-on collisions, as at these speeds, they'll completely total your vehicle. Crazy jumps, great handling, and far improved visuals lead to thrilling races that are up there with the best in the genre. Releasing at launch on the Xbox, the game was not X-enhanced, even though the system had been out for nearly 2 years at that point. Thankfully, a few months later, the game was patched up to a 4K resolution, but it was still stuck at a floaty feeling 30 frames per second. 6 months into the release of the series consoles, a patch is now hit that raises this to 60 frames per second. Sadly, though, it's only for the Series X. Not sure why, but the Series S version instead finds only a resolution bump up to 4K, but with that same 30 frames per second lock. I would have much preferred sticking to the current resolution, but upping the frame rate on the Series S. Hopefully, fan feedback will be enough to get Bugbear to change this. I'm not sure. I can overstate just how important it is because 60 frames per second helps this game immensely. What was a good game is now a go-to for me. The controls have improved immensely from the reduction in input lag, and graphically, what was a decent-looking game is now legitimately pretty. It's not Forza. Very few things are Forza or Forza Horizon levels, but the damage model in this game is the absolute best in the business, and now on console, the handling system finally matches it. Most of my initial time with the game was spent in early access on PC. There is a decent amount of grinding in the campaign to earn the cars you'll need to race in specific events. There is no cross progression, and so all my time on PC did not transfer over, but the racing feels so much better now that I don't really mind going through things again. The multiplayer system was broken for a bit when the game hit Game Pass, but it has been fixed and has been working perfectly for me. Generally, I will hop into a quick play session, and as you join it, you'll spectate if a race is midway. Once that race ends, you get to vote on what you do for the next one, and you hop in for some absolute madness, as every race that I play multiplayer ends up being half destruction derby. It is great fun. If you don't expect to win all the time, the races are brutally tough, and half the pleasure, if not more, comes from beating the ever-loving crap out of your fellow racers. The music is a solid mix of rock, and the sound effects for smashing into things are always satisfying. Wreckfest is a fantastic podcast game, as you never really need to hear anything, and finding that sense of zen while using a harvester and a demolition derby is a beautiful and surreal experience. In conclusion, Wreckfest is an excellent racing game. It has one of the best physics models and by far the best damage model in any racing game that I have ever played. Combine these with a variety of race and destruction derby style modes, and you have yourself one hell of a title. This one is a no-brainer for anyone with Game Pass, and it's on sale quite often as well. Do yourself a favor and check Wreckfest out. There's a good chance you will absolutely love it. Wreckfest is available on Xbox One, Xbox Series, Windows PC, and mobile through cloud streaming on Game Pass. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and if you do subscribe, click that little bell. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by just how often we post. We will see you here next time on XboxEra.